Hey guys, this is Travis Bayless with Beyond Bipolar Blog. Today we're going to cover a new medication called Caplyta or Caplyta. I used to call it Caplyta, but that's wrong. It's specifically called Caplyta. And the one thing I want to talk about is that the name is Caplyta, but the generic name is called Lumateperone. I have to look this stuff up because I'm not familiar with it. But to get things started, I was actually on Latuda 120 and Seroquel, but I gained a lot of weight on the Seroquel because last year I have been on Latuda for 8 years, so that's a long time, and it has washed out and primarily it has lost its effectiveness. And all of a sudden, I was on Seroquel since I was hospitalized last Christmas. And last Christmas Eve, I was in the hospital, sadly. But I had to start something else to just improve my mood because I was just feeling like crap and very suicidal. Anyways, long story short, I gained like close to maybe 10 pounds, and I was kind of fed up with it because I was eating, and that's one of the side effects of antipsychotic, especially the older ones, is that they do cause weight gain, and that's what I was experiencing. Anyways, I saw this drug on Facebook called Caplyta, so I decided to finally reach out to my psychiatrist and take the bold move of trying it. The thing that actually encouraged me to do it is that Vraylar is newer, but you still have to take food with it. And once I talked to my doctor, you do not need to take food with this for it to process in your system, to metabolize. So that was another thing. I wouldn't have to eat more calories to feel better. So let's talk about what happened in the beginning. So a month ago, I started Caplyta at, I think the one that I started was like 42 milligrams. It's a really strange milligram system because they're not like 30, 60, 120 or whatever, but the dosages, and I started straight at 42. I thought that was the lowest dose possible. And the problem with that is the first day that I was on Caplyta and still taking the 120 milligrams, the highest dose of Latuda, I slept fine. But immediately 2 days later, when I dropped to 60 milligrams of Latuda and stayed at 42 milligrams of Caplyta, I was up for like 22 hours, and I had a hard time going to sleep. So you might experience this when you first started. It is going to take time to kind of get adjusted to your body. The one thing you'll notice is that as you decrease from 120 or you just basically decrease the antipsychotic you want if you do plan on going to a more weight neutral drug. Regardless, the more weight neutral drugs are Latuda, Vraylar, and now Caplyta. The great thing about Caplyta is that it doesn't require eating food. But I started with this. I started at 120 Latuda, 60 milligrams of Latuda, and then 20 milligrams of Latuda, and just being off it cold turkey. I did this all pretty much in a week. So every 2 days, I would decrease the Latuda. I was able to cut it in half, and surprisingly, it worked. I feel much better being on it. I feel more clear-headed. I feel like I don't need as much sleep. The most important thing is that I'm not waking up in the middle of night feeling like I want to end up killing myself. And that was the worst feeling that I ever had on Latuda. Because if I wouldn't eat properly, if I wasn't hungry or whatever the reason is, I would just go into this huge depressive state where I just get so suicidal, I just want to kill myself. And it's so painful that I kind of just freeze. I know I want to do something, but it's very, very uncomfortable. and it's just really painful. I noticed that while I was on Caplyta, I don't have that feeling. I might wake up in the middle of the night, but I'm not experiencing that huge dreaded sensation of having severe SI, suicidal ideations, and that is probably the best benefit that I can talk to you about it. And the number 2 benefit is that, like I said, I don't need much sleep, and that's very important. Number 3 is I don't need to take with food, and like Vraylar and Latuda and now Caplyta, is that they are more weight neutral. Now let's talk about side effects. So, like most antipsychotics, this was a drug that came out in maybe December 2021. So it's about a year old, in which it finally got, approved for the FDA. It's approved for Bipolar 1, for those that experience Bipolar 1 depression and schizophrenia. However, on the commercials that you see, it's kind of labeled for Bipolar 1. Anyways, let's talk about side effects. I just want to give you a clear response to when it came out. But like many other psychotics, you might experience akathisia. And akathisia is a very, very uncomfortable sensation where you feel like you got to move. People that may be reduced on medications or started medications may experience this, and it's just an inner restlessness feeling. Another problem is that you might experience tiredness, especially in the beginning. If you have not been on antipsychotic, you might be sleeping 12 to 16 hours, and that's a very problem. This could last from a year or 2. I mean, it's very actually problematic in the beginning because you're just always tired. You're very lethargic. You don't want to do anything. And I think that's the major benefit of Caplyta. I feel like I have more energy. I have more desire to do things, especially when I was on just Latuda alone and Seroquel. The problem with Seroquel, as I stated, is that it had a lot of severe weight gain issues, and I noticed that very, very quickly. And I've literally lost like 6 pounds in the last month, so that's really cool. Anyways, another issue is that I haven't talked about this, but it actually can change body temperature. And your body temperature could increase it. And if you're dehydrated, you might feel lightheaded, sick to your stomach, and that could be very problematic. So be aware that it will raise your temperature or maybe reduce your temperature as well, depending on what side effect you have. So it makes regulating your body very more difficult to handle, but that's kind of a rare symptom. I never experienced that. For most drugs, I experienced akathisia, weight gain, and those are the main primary things that I've issued with. And I've done several reviews on like 8 other antipsychotics. This is the 9th antipsychotic that I'm reviewing, and I think that there are other ones that do cause issues. I want to state that it can induce suicidal thoughts. There could be tardive dyskinesia, which I used to have on Latuda. I don't know. I'll have to watch this video if I'm still experiencing like side movement of my mouth. It's very involuntary. I don't know if I'm doing it, but we'll see.
You're not on the med that does it anymore?
So I think it was Latuda, the increase from 80 to 120 that caused me to have this tardive dyskinesia. And the problem with this is that it can be permanent, and that sucks when you're on this medication because it's helping you. But there is medications that can help you to, it's like basically taking medicine to stop the side effect, which really sucks for some, but it's a matter that I did try once, but it made me too tired. I can't remember the name of it because it just phased me, but it is on my list, and I can write it in the comments below if it's needed.
Vega.
So I want to note that if you're old, this could, like I never stated this either, but it could induce mortality for patients with dementia and those experiencing psychosis. Now it does state that there's neuroleptic malignant syndrome, cerebrovascular adverse reactions, including strokes, leukopenia and neutropenia. I don't know what those are. And agranulocytosis. You'll have to look at those, but I'm not sure what they're about. I want to state that the one thing that did happen to me is that I started at 42 milligrams right away. And I didn't realize that I was on the highest dose. The problem is that if you have insurance, it only covers up to 42, the highest dose. And if you want to be on more, it's not approved, but you're going to have to pay out of pocket. This drug is like $1,400 a month for 30 tablets. And that's pretty expensive for those. But I'm on Medicare and medical assistance, so it's covered 100%. That's the kind of the beauty of being on disability. It sucks that you don't make a lot of money. At the same time, having 100% coverage on dental care, cleaning twice a year, medications, some therapy, depending on what type of license that you are part of, and psychological evaluations with the psychiatrist. All those can come free if you're on both of those. But I want to state that there are different dosages. So if you're new to antipsychotics, you might want to start at 10.5 milligrams. I would be that on 2 or 3 weeks. The one thing that I am aware of is that I could literally stop Latuda in a week. And like most other drugs, like antidepressants, you gotta kind of wean off those. And especially mood stabilizers. Like if you go too fast up, too slow up, or too slow down, you can develop this rash that could kill you, called the Stephen Johnson rash for Lamictal. And it's so important for someone to just talk to a psychiatrist if you need to wean off them, or if you could go off it cold turkey, depending. But let's say you might want to be on 10.5 milligrams, 2 to 3 weeks, doing well for you. If you still feel like it's not working, you might want to increase it to 21 milligrams. And then if it's still not working, go to 42. Or if you're only on a high dose of medications of any other antipsychotic, you can probably start at 42 and maybe quit the Latuda, maybe go down on it, wean off it in a week, and if it works, it works. But there's only 3 dosages. It's basically a capsule, has a kind of a blue capsule to it. All these in general usually are capsules, so you can't split it up. But I think that's it. So I've had such a great experience on Caplyta that I want to promote it. So I think that that's really, really important. Everyone has individual experiences. Everyone reacts differently to medications. Everyone have different metabolizations. So be aware of this. This is just an opinion. It's not fact. For me, it has worked much better than my Latuda experience. My Seroquel, Geodon, Risperdal, Invega, Abilify, Clozaril, Zyprexa, all of those 7 different drugs, and now Latuda. This drug has worked the best. And I don't know how I'm going to feel after 8 years like in Latuda. It could wash out too. But I'm hoping by then it'll be a new medication that will be developed and will even be better than Caplyta or Caplyta, whatever, Caplyta, whatever you want to call it. Kyle only has 4 minutes left, so I think I'm really good at this. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, or is there anything you want me to
Overall, how do you feel on it?
Just feel great, man. I still get like 10 to 12 hours of sleep. Maybe it's less than that. But in general, I feel really, really good on it. I'm more motivated.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
What's that?
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Oh, God, I just wanted to say, please like, comment, subscribe to our channel. That'd be great if you do it. We have 562 subscribers. Very proud of it. So, thanks.